I'd like to call the Pipestone City Council meeting for October 20th to order, please. Could I get a roll call?
Mayor Delaney,
Here.
Councilmember Smith,
Here.
Councilmember Thompson. Here. Councilmember Swanson,
Here.
Councilmember Colbeck.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. If you're able, please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the agenda. Is there any changes, deletions, or additions to the agenda? If not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. Next up is the consent agenda. The consent agenda contains the following items for approval: the October 6, 2025 regular meeting minutes, payment of claims, listing of bills, and the September financial reports. I'd entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I move we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed say no, and motion carries. Community concerns. Do we have anyone signed in for community concerns, Stephanie?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll move on to presentations then. We're going to have a presentation, Lights at the Lodge by Myron Coots. So come on up to the podium, Myron. You're familiar with the area, I'm sure, so.
I've been here once before.
Once before, okay, well, go
For
ahead.
14 years.
Nice to see you, thank you.
Well, Mr. Mayor and fellow council, not fellow council members, thank you for allowing me to come here. My name is Myron Coots. I live at 103 10th Avenue Southwest, and as the mayor said, that I'm representing the Lights of the Lodge Committee. And the Lights of the Lodge should not be confused with Hiawatha Pageant Park Commission, because even though some of the people, there's overlap between the two commission to the committee, we are kind of a separate organization, a group of citizens in which we're currently decorating the Hiawatha Pageant Park for the holiday seasons. One of the reasons why I'm here is to talk a little bit about fundraising. In the past, we've gone out, and we will this year also send letters out to the business community soliciting donations. And that has worked fairly well, but one of the segments of the soliciting donations is missing the individual person, which gets into kind of a hairy place with the city, because the city technically cannot solicit donations per se, whereas a private group can solicit donations. So that's where this is coming in at.
Did we lose our mic, Steve?
Oh.
Okay,
Okay. Anyway,
Thank you.
we went around, the group has over the years have gone to Marshall and gone to Laverne, obviously Sioux Falls, to see what they do. And it's kind of interesting. One time that I was in Marshall, my wife and I, we were charged to go through their park. Another time, another individual had gone to Marshall. They weren't charged to go through the park. So the fundraising is kind of all over the board. So what we come up with the idea that if we QR code, you see in their square and kind of like got all dots all over it, is if we could put a QR code up at the entrance exit with the Lights of the Lodge during that time, that would be directed to a donation page that we would establish, the Lights of the Lodge Committee would establish. And by doing that, then that takes the city out of soliciting donations. It's also a lot of accountability, because when you start setting up a page like that, you know, less the individual, what they donated, what have you. So there's a lot of accountability with it that goes with a site like that. And so then at that point, then those monies would have to be directed to a nonprofit, which we have a couple different options of not qualified nonprofits that we could direct that money to. Then that nonprofit then could write out a check back to the city, or however we want to manage those funds. And so that would allow us really to solicit, or solicit, the reason why I'm here primarily is to get permission, because we'll be soliciting on city property that we have allowed us to do that with the QR codes.
Just a quick question, Myron. Now, would that be a temporary sign only for when the lights in the lodge are there? And it's not gonna be a sign that someone would drive in and say, oh, yeah, this is a nice park. I wanna donate to the parks.
So we can do that.
Well, yeah, you know.
It would be fine with the mayor, Mr. Mayor, it would be just when the lights are live. We'd be starting probably like in October through when we tear down the first week in January.
Okay, well, it's certainly something we want to talk to our city attorney about and get his opinion on it. And Jason, I know you've been listening and I don't want to put you on the spot. Is there anything obvious there that we should be avoiding, or should we just look into this a little bit before we make a decision?
No, some of this information had been sent to me previously.
Okay,
I think this will be okay. The way that they're planning on doing it.
okay, all right. So at this point, it's on the agenda, we could entertain a motion for approval of the QR code sign.
If you wanted to do that.
I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any questions, discussion? And would it just be at the south entrance? Is that what you're thinking? Or would you have two of them?
There would actually be four.
Oh,
Or, there would be, well, probably five. You would have one at the south entrance. When you go in, you have that gateway exiting to the national park. Well, during the lights are live, there'd be another one there. Then we're starting to do more decorations on top. What I call the top, the old parking lot. What we would have one on the entrance on the north, you'd have one on the entrance on the east. You know, so that people, it would probably be two-sided up there so that if they were gonna exit or we're gonna entrance that way, that they would be there.
closer to Hiawatha, are you talking about then, or closer to the,
Yeah, if you look, if it's, way to describe it very quickly, it's the last driveway as you're driving north.
I know what you mean. Yeah, okay.
So that exit entrance exit there, then to the off of Reservation Avenue, when that spot there, people turn in there also.
I was wondering about where the old ticket booth is up on top there.
Yeah.
If that wouldn't be a location for people that happen to be just walking through there.
Walking through, and there's quite a few people that'll stop their car up there too.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
look. Get that area also.
Yeah. All right. So we have a motion on the floor and it has been
Mr.
seconded.
Mayor,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
no problem. Just one quick thing. I just want to clarify my recollection of the way this was described was this would be donations to, this would go to a nonprofit. And that nonprofit would then donate those funds to the city in kind of the regular process through a resolution, that kind of thing. That's the way it's gonna run.
Correct. That would be,
Yes.
that is our incentive, correct, yeah.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Perfect.
Okay. And it would be specifically used for lights at the lodge
Not a
event,
lot, right, which,
not just for park maintenance or anything. It's
No.
for the light.
because
So,
that's a budget item. And
Right,
did not-
right. right. Yeah. So, okay, any more questions, discussion from anyone? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed, say no, and motion carries.
Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you. Public hearing is next, and the proposed assessments for unpaid municipal services and/or municipal utilities. And this public hearing allows the public to comment on the proposed assessment of unpaid municipal services and municipal utilities. The final tax assessment rolls will be approved by the council later in the meeting and sent to the Pipestone County in November. So this portion, I would entertain a motion to open the public meeting for the proposed assessments of unpaid municipal services and municipal utilities.
I'll move to open the public meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. So this is if you're interested in any of the unpaid municipal services. And that's a list of bills that we get every year put together. And I would, if any, doesn't look like anyone is here for this particular part. Oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead and come up to the podium, introduce yourself and give us your address and go from there.
I'm Harvey Noy, representing HL and DJ Properties. I live just outside of town, 1152 US Highway 75. HL and DJ Properties has a few properties in town where I don't have any currently that are on the rolls or a current situation here, but in the past I have. And the thing that bothers me the most is water bills. They add up quickly in this town. And yeah, we get notices that they're past due and yeah, we're gonna shut you off, we're gonna shut you off. I have yet to see anybody actually get shut off. But in the end, you come back to the landlord if the bill isn't paid, and I'd much rather see it get shut off and enforced. You guys have the power to do it. I'd like to see you do it.
Yeah. Well, just as a comment, I know that we've had cases where the water has been shut off. But normally, Jody, if you want to speak to this, there's a 2-month grace period there when someone is behind on their water bill.
Yep, so when somebody's delinquent on their utility bill, we send out the disconnect notice. They do have the option and opportunity to come in, make payment arrangements, and we will work with them on their delinquent utilities. A lot of times when you guys are getting stuck with a bill is the final bill, they move out, move away, and don't pay that final bill. Or we don't get a forwarding address. That's something where we can contact you guys. If you guys still have your security deposit, you could use that towards that bill. Or we have started implementing, as far as like dumpsters. If they rent a property, they have to come prepay now for that. We will not give a dumpster to a renter. They need to come prepay that. And if a landlord wants the utilities disconnected due to non-payment, we have put up a form where you guys need to come in and sign it, giving us authorization to come and disconnect. Because as of the notice that they get, there's only a certain day that we can disconnect their utilities. So
And then correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a fee for the disconnect
there's
and there is a fee to reconnect. And so that's why Jody is very good at trying to work with people to get that bill paid when they're behind so that they don't end up with another $70 basically in charges just being disconnected and then reconnecting. So yeah, it's one of those things. It would be great if people just paid their bill when they were supposed to. And we wouldn't have these headaches, but I can understand that as a landlord that it becomes a burden that it isn't fair, but then again, that's part of being a landlord, I guess, so.
One other thing to add to that too, as a landlord, you have the right to keep it in your name as well. So that way you're kind of in charge of the bill and you can work with your tenant on how to collect those funds essentially. That's an option too that we would actually prefer if people did keep them in their name versus their tenant, but entirely your choice.
Okay, well, thank you, ladies. Any other comments on the unpaid municipal bills? Hearing or seeing none, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing then at this time.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
One thing for the
Go ahead.
delinquent utility accounts, we did have one person that recently paid this afternoon, so parcel number 18-270-0540 can be removed from that list. And for anybody that's listening, that may be on this list, you can come pay before November 21st, without interest. And, after the November 21st is when we'll certify the list, send it to the county auditor's office, and at that point, it'll get put on your next year's taxes, and there'll be 8% interest on top of it, or $25 fee, whichever is greater.
Okay, well, thank you. So we still have a good 30 days to make that right. All right, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next up is the proposed assessment for the 2023-2024 street reconstruction, sanitary sewer, water main, and storm sewer improvements. And the final tax assessment rolls will be considered by the council during their regular council meeting on November 3rd, with the final tax assessment rolls being sent to Pipestone County in November. So I'd entertain a motion to open the public hearing for the assessments of the 2023-24 street reconstruction.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no, and motion carries. So I'm assuming that we have some folks here for this portion. And if you'd like to come up and say something, just come up to the podium. We can start out in the front row and just go down the line and introduce yourself, and you'll have your time available to say what you want to say. So anyone would like to come up and speak to this at this time?
I can't.
Okay.
Kelly Wimmer, and I live 416 14th Street Southwest. The two properties that I have that I'm putting about now are 416, I'm sorry, that's my address. 206 4th Street. One of them is a lot with no sewer or water access to it.
Okay.
Does have a new curb through it, there's no sidewalk, sewer or water. So that's the one I was really concerned about. And the other one is a building that does have the services offered.
Is that 206, is that a buildable lot, Kelly, or is it not buildable?
I don't think it's going.
Okay, just
That's too close to the railroad tracks.
too small.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the one I'm really concerned about. The other one is what we're less concerned with. It just seems, the property value of that one lot is 11,700. And I think the assessment was 10,000.
That's the minimum.
Yeah, that seems like that's.
Yeah, yeah. Or the maximum, I should say. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Okay. Travis, is there anything you can say to that?
Yeah, I guess we can look into it. If it's not a buildable lot, that's probably something council needs to consider, adjusting. There are a handful of cases in that neighborhood that, we look at the assessment roll at, I guess we don't get into the details about buildable or not, but just look at the frontage and then apply the policy. So sure, that's something we definitely look into.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Next, yeah, we'll just go in order.
I'm Marcy Monroe, I live at 418 East Main Street. And I guess kind of my property is two plots. And so I have a house plot and then I have an empty plot beside it. The empty plot is only valued at $5,000 for tax purposes, and then I was assessed much higher than that. That's kind of my thing. I know I had spoken with Stephanie, I believe she spoke with Travis, and they kind of came up with a thing, but I'm here to I don't know if I should go through that or I don't know, I think it was kind of talked about. It's one property, even though it's two plots, and treating it as one full property instead of two separate ones and using the maximum
For both.
for the two together
Yeah.
as one property.
What's the legalities on that? If it's two separate plots and then calling it one? To me, that doesn't seem right, but
There's no sewer or anything on the second plot.
is that a buildable lot? We don't know.
I don't think
I
so.
don't-
It's only
think it is
it's
either.
only 50 feet wide.
Oh,
Two of them together are only each 50 feet. it's a kind of a unique parcel. Stephanie and I had talked about it, and we believe that in this case, those should be merged into one parcel, so.
We have tried, I mean, I spoke with Amanda Sandy to make that one plot, and there's no legal reason for them to do that. So to go through that process, she said, we really won't unless we absolutely would have to make it one plot. 'Cause technically my property is 3 plots. There's only 2 street frontages. But one of them splits my garage in half. You know, it's kind of a weird setup, but
Yes.
so it was just to present to maybe treat it as one property and do it that way.
So correct me if I'm wrong again now. So the county has the authority on the plotting.
They could, she said we did, it's,
We would,
unless it
as a
becomes
city, we do
necessary.
not.
Right, it'd be the county. She
Right.
said, it's, unless it became necessary, what she'd have to see why it would be. We'd be years down the road. We
Well-
wouldn't be at the top of their list to do that anyway, so.
I guess then my next question would be to the county, is it expensive and time consuming?
That was
to
kind
do
of,
something like that?
it kind of sounded like it, to make my 3 plots into one plot.
But it would sure make sense in the long run. They
I
clean
was
things up.
indicated.
Yeah.
The reason we were checking is we wanted to build a handicap ramp on the side of our house.
Okay,
And it would cross plot lines. And whether that would cause problems in the future, that's why we were asking about joining it and said it's not really necessary.
okay,
So it would be time consuming, costly,
okay.
and things. So I was presenting to, or hoping to treat it as one property, kind of like it is, and use the guidelines for that then.
And we would have that option as a city to treat it as one property?
Yeah, Stephanie and I had discussed it, and we felt that was appropriate.
Okay. Okay, all right, we'll make those corrections. Thank you for bringing that up. Anyone else? Front row. Next row. Oh, yeah, Danielle, go ahead. Sorry, didn't want to skip anybody.
Yeah, so Danielle Evers, I live at 318 2nd Street Southeast. Mostly here just to get informed exactly on everything, but I also know that I had an extra amount assessed to my property because I chose to have most of my driveway replaced, so I'm very much aware of that.
Okay,
I just was wanting to know, I guess, the improvement number that they came up with and the total assessment being capped at 10,000 and what the actual realized benefits to me was, as it's not supposed to exceed the benefits to my property value. So that's kind of why I'm here.
okay. Well, I can say that we have looked at the assessment policy and we understood 4 years ago that the assessment policy was broken, that it wasn't working as it should. And so we did a lot of time, a lot of discussion, and came up with a new assessment policy that caps everything at the $10,000 level. Because, you know, if you have a home that's valued at 60,000 and you end up with a $30,000 assessment, that's not realistic. And so, but we still have to have an assessment on these projects because in order to complete a project, and a lot of times it's more than just the street we're interested in when we need to do something. The infrastructure underneath is probably the main reason why we redo a lot of streets. And that's to get rid of the lead pipe that's under there from years and years ago and to make it safe and make your water, whether it's fresh water or your gray and black water, we want to make sure that everything is operating for everyone in the community. And that's why it's important to keep that infrastructure up to date.
Yeah.
But and nothing's cheap. Everything has went up. I mean, inflation is just, yeah, it hits everybody, so. But thank you for your comments. Anyone in the second row? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I am Jesse Post. I live, I don't know if you need my address by Woodstock where I live. I don't know if that matters, but I'm
For the
here,
record.
861 County Line Avenue, Woodstock. I am here on behalf of my company, Post Property Management. I have several rental properties that are affected in this. I believe there's 5 of them. So I'm looking at a total of over 50,000 in assessments. And I guess I was here a couple years ago too. I do have a few concerns, still have concerns with sidewalks that are heaving already. I've got a property between, right next to Hollering, I think it's 311 2nd Street Southeast. There's already over an inch in the sidewalk. I probably have 4 or 5 places that are like that, that are settling and moving already. I did bring that up last time, and nothing was done about those properties either, and the heaving of the concrete, still there. There's no rebar in the concrete. I did have, so I just want to bring that up that,
Well,
I don't want to pay for.
let me just ask right there with that statement that there's no rebar in the concrete. Because that is part of our bid specs to have rebar in there, and how difficult is it to determine whether there's rebar in the cement or not?
I can show you several pictures that I took, because they had to cut out sections, the rebar is laying on the ground underneath the concrete. So there's going to be movement, there's nothing tying it together. I'm just concerned, tripping hazards, when I have rental properties, I don't want to get sued because somebody else did a crappy job on the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Make sure those get milled down or whatever they have to be done. But I mean, that stuff hasn't been there that long and it's moving quite a bit already. I did have a question for you. So on 2nd Street, did that street get narrowed or widened, I should say? So is that correct?
On 2nd Street, Travis?
I don't know, I forget what the comparison was, but we set all of the side streets on those projects at 36 feet. Just as
Okay.
a standard.
I was just curious. I couldn't remember exactly. I'm sure it got widened out. And part of that is with my property on, forgive me, I gotta try to remember all the addresses. 201 2nd, was it 3rd Avenue Southeast? So when that got widened out, my property essentially got smaller. So I have off-street parking for my tenants there. And now I have a little bit of an issue because I have cars that don't fit between the road and the sidewalk. I just bring that up because it comes back to what, the valuation on what these lots are. I've already got, half of that property already has an assessment against it, which, by the way, you guys did still charge me the full amount with interest on my taxes this year, which is supposed to be taken care of. So I would like the difference back plus the interest. So what I'm saying with that is that now that my property's smaller, it's harder for me to park cars there. It's harder for my tenants to get off the street. So what the street project did really didn't help my property at all. My sidewalks were good. Everything was good there. I still have yard work that has not been done on those. I have a 6-inch drop off on the side of my sidewalks, going from the sidewalk up to the house on a couple properties there. Some of them I filled in. I watched one of my tenants trip and fall on the sidewalk because she rolled her ankle going off the side. Thankfully, she did not get hurt. Again, goes back to the safety of tenants, and I really don't want to get sued for somebody else's mess up. And you guys can go over there. I've called the city a few times about it and realized not necessarily the city's job to go out there and finish somebody else's work either. But just to bring that to attention again. In front of one of my other houses, the sidewalk is now crooked going up to the front door. It used to be straight going out to the road, and now it comes out for a ways to the sidewalk straight, the existing sidewalk, and then it goes at an angle, which isn't a huge deal, but again, not helping anything. So my main thing, and I brought this up last time as well, is according to, and this is information I pulled off the Minnesota State website, where it says, so this is done by, it's right on the house.minnesota.gov. And this is from Legislative Analysis who put this together, so anybody can pull this up if they want to. But under determining the amount of a special assessment, it says this, the assessment amount charged to the property cannot exceed the amount by which the property benefits from the improvement, as measured by the increase in market value of the land due to improvement. So in order for special assessment to be valid, the land must receive a special benefit from the improvement being constructed. The assessment may not exceed the special benefit. Special benefit is measured by the increase in market value only. And a special assessment that does not meet these requirements is an unconstitutional taking. And that's referenced by court cases, different lawsuits against different cities in the state of Minnesota, which is kind of where we ended up last time. So again, I have properties that their market value is 30, 40,000. I have $10,000 assessment against that. I really don't believe I'm gaining 25% of my market value for having a different sidewalk put in and a new curb and gutter. I get there's water, I get there's stuff, I get there's some value to that. Also my corner lots, you know, we have same parcel number, so the corner lot, I'm well over those $10,000 marks on my corner lots. And I had another thing I was gonna say too, but
Is that happening, Travis, where we're over our maximum because it is a corner lot? The corner lot was
I guess,
assessed on one side and half on the other.
I guess that was one thing I was gonna mention before. We looked at these where corner lots are typically more valuable, so the $10,000 is what the kind of a maximum assessment would be on an interior lot. Corner lots with construction on both sides were 15,000.
so I do want to say to everybody else here too, that if you gotta make sure that you sign something before you leave. Otherwise, if you don't, then those things go into place, and what they're approving now is assessed against your property. So if you don't want to have that amount, and you want to go on record, make sure you sign something, because they might not tell you to do that. That's all.
Well, thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the second row? We'll just keep going down the line. Thank you.
Hello, my
Hi.
name is Rachel Martin. I live on 209 7th Avenue Southwest. And I did not come with a prepared speech, but I do have questions, and like Ms. Evers in the front, I mainly wanted some clarification. Also, like Ms. Evers, I recognize that my street, I did have an improvement on driveway, so no arguments there. Very happy with that concrete. But when I purchased my home in 2022, I knew that I was on the record to have the water lines to my home and the main and the sewer updated. However, my street, as I understand it from city individuals, was not on the improvement bracket originally. I could be very mistaken. However, I was specifically told by some public works individuals when they were redoing or putting in the mains and whatnot in the road and they tore things up, that they were just gonna pack it for the winter and then they were going to, quote unquote, try to piggyback improving the street, resurfacing it on projects that were already rescheduled. I understand that improvements have to be made, etc. However, whenever I was purchasing my home, that would have really been nice to know for bargaining, because when I purchased my home in 2022, the market value was, the estimated value per tax records were 31,400 and equal amount for the taxable market. 2023, it increased $43,500 on estimated market. Granted, my home was remodeled, so I do recognize that. In 2024, estimated market increased another $28,300 to a total of $103,200. And then 2025, another $20,000, $20,800 to $124,000. So that would have been nice to know that I was going to have an improvement when purchasing that. And I know there's extenuating circumstances, but I am a single person living, so I don't have joint income, etc. And I would like clarification on the letter that was mailed or dated September the 30th. Such assessment is proposed to be payable in equal installments over the first of the installments payable with the 2026 taxes and will bear an interest rate at a rate of 5% per annum from the date of the adoption. To the first installment shall be added interest on the entire assessment from the date of the assessment. So as I understand it, 5% on top of my 13 grand, which would be $13,650. To each subsequent installment when due shall be added interest for 1 year on all unpaid installments. So I don't speak legalese, so I would like a little bit of clarification on what that looks like for taxes, etc.
Travis, could you speak to the, when she was talking about Seventh Avenue and the piggybacking of that, water system?
Yeah,
How did that work out? And then we'll talk about, the questions on the assessment.
so the utilities were replaced, I forget what year, I believe it was 2022. And then the street surface with the utility work was left as gravel, primarily, after that. So then the council decided to add on to the 2023 street project. We started that improvement project as a separate improvement, then went through the process to add this in, making it part of that improvement project. So it was all done under the same larger project umbrella, but gained some benefit from economy of scale on the project size. So it was added. It was, I mean, I wouldn't say it was not known that it was gonna be done, but it wasn't a part of the original scope of the 2023 project when it was initially proposed.
Okay, but the actual work itself was then completed just like the rest of the entire project, and it wasn't just a piggyback add-on type thing.
Correct. Yep. It was
Okay.
full reconstruction of the road surface, curb and gutter, sidewalk, driveways.
Okay, all right. Okay. And then Stephanie, can you speak to her question on the assessment and the interest?
Right, so basically, if your assessment was the 13,000, you would have until approximately November 21st to fully pay that amount. If you can't, that's where it gets assessed through your taxes at the 5% interest over a period of 10 years. So as you pay off your taxes biannually, that amount would get kind of divvied up that way. So you would make biannual payments on the 13,000 plus the 5% interest.
But the interest is only on the remainder of what's left on the assessment. It's not on the entire
Yes,
amount of the
so if you
assessment.
wanted to even pay a portion of that before November 21st, and then that amount would be assessed based on that 5% interest. So,
Did that answer your question? Okay. Next up.
Yes, I'm Harvey Noe again, 1152 US Highway 75, representing HL and DJ Properties. I've got two properties that are currently assessed. One of them being 116 Third Avenue Southeast, and I think it's a little interesting that previously it was mentioned about sidewalks having issues. Because this particular property, a brand new sidewalk put in last year, and it heaped over a foot high coming together. They actually had cones sitting beside it. So it's certainly a hazard, and it sounds like it's more than a coincidence that it's happening. So I would like that taken care of, and contractors be held responsible for it. It's not your guys' problem, absolutely, but contractors should be held for it.
Right.
Next thing would be the Minnesota statute that Jesse Post mentioned. I guess I'd like to understand, is that actual fact law out there? And what's the city's stance on it?
Well, I can tell you that we're not attorneys and we don't give legal advice. I can tell you that much.
Well, we have an attorney.
Right. And that's a city attorney for the city of Pipestone. It's not for the individuals. Does that make sense?
So can we ask his opinion on that statute?
Jason, do you have a comment on what's been said so far?
Yeah, I mean, the statement about the statute and the standards are correct. And that's what Mayor addressed earlier. There was a lot of time put in to update the city's special assessment policy to address that specific matter.
Okay. Well, I don't feel streets and group properties very much.
Well,
And I strenuously object to my two properties being accessible to him.
okay.
Just one more note is they're both over the $10,000 limit, which you guys mentioned, but they're not corner shaped.
Did you request to have additional work done? Like driveway or anything, or?
There was,
Sewer water lines.
there were, but those are on one property, yes, there was extra work there.
Okay.
My understanding that was handled separately, not as part of the street deal, or am I misunderstanding?
It should be all together, correct?
Yeah,
So-
any private work that was requested, that to be completed under the project is included here.
Good to know.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in the second row? Third row? Come on. Yep, go ahead.
Blake Cleansing, 949 State Highway 30. Here representing MTCO Real Estate, LLP. Our properties, excuse me, we technically have two properties, 214 East Main and 216 East Main. The main one is our accounting office and parking lot, and I understand around the corner lot. But that one, we had a 10,000 assessment on, I believe, the main street, 7,500 on the other side. I thought you said it was capped at 15 for a corner lot.
I'd have to double check on that.
And that's fine, and we're good with that, but however, in our parking lot, if you're familiar with it, on the southeast corner is a separate parcel all by itself. All it is concrete. There used to be a house there 25, 30 years ago, maybe, and I think that's why it's a separate lot. We have another 8,700 of assessments on that one. So that whole side street is about 15,000 alone, and it's all basically one unit for us. Like
Is
that's
that on the other side of that alley that goes behind the building?
it's between the alley and Third.
Third.
It's on the corner. On Third, yeah, the alley goes behind our building.
Okay.
And then the 214 property, we got assist. It's another $7,000 on that one. We bought the property for $1 2 years ago. It is absolutely worthless right now. I don't know how we can get taxed on an extra $7,000 worth of assessments on that thing. I get and we're fine. We understand we're gonna improve it and it's all gonna be part of one giant thing. But we were told not to combine it at that time, which we're fine with it. We're gonna pay it either way. But for us, it just seemed kind of strange that the value on, I don't know what the market value is on it. All I know is we bought it per $1. And we haven't unable to do any improvements to it yet, just due to the barrel lot next to it.
So we're totally fine paying property tax and picking up the assessments, but it just seemed, I think our two biggest things were the property that we just recently acquired and then the Bear Concrete corner lot. Like I said, it doesn't have any value. Nothing will ever get developed on it because it's current place.
I think that property that they just had purchased, there was a purchase agreement with specifics at that time. And I'm sure full disclosure would have talked about an assessment at that time.
Could be.
I'm not entirely sure without
Yeah,
looking at
yeah.
it right now, but
But if I remember correctly, and I'm just going off the top of my head here too,
Oh,
but
it's supposed to be developed within 2 years. But
yeah.
due to not, the contractors can't touch it until, because they have to go underground in the lot next to us.
Wasn't there some funding available 2
There
years
is.
in, and once that building was
Correct.
cleaned up a little bit?
Yeah, but we
There was
can't
some work
do anything
done.
with that building due to the lot next to it is unknown by us.
The whole point of that deal was to keep blight down
Mhm.
right on Main Street.
And like I said,
We certainly are glad to be working with you and to take on something like that. It was a good project for both the city and you.
It's civil, we just wanted to bring up, it seemed like I said, the corner lot issue of having 17,500.
Yeah.
In our eyes, it's all one property and the total assessment's about 33,000 for us. But,
Well, we need to take a look at
yeah,
that
absolutely appreciate it.
corner. Thank you for the information. And Travis, we'll get back to them. Okay, great. Anyone else want to speak about the assessments on the street project?
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah, go ahead.
You want me to
Yep,
clarify?
nope, yep. Just so everyone can hear you and
I want to know what year, like the before and after of the like assessed property value you looked at to determine, what that difference would be. Like, did it go from the 2023 to the 2024 estimated market value, or 2022, 23, or the 23, 24, 24, 25? Do you guys know?
do you have any?
Well, and I mean, those are the assessor's valuation isn't always updated either. So that's a part of the statute. It doesn't necessarily have a weight in our assessment policy. It's a gauge that the city looks at too, but we did not go out and get an actual before and after appraisal.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move we close public hearing.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions from the council? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. Next up is reports from department heads, and Chamber of Commerce is not here, so we'll start out with Senior Center.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Steve Weeds from the Senior Center. And I guess I'm going to be easy compared to what you just went through here. So currently we've got 106 members, and we're still doing, basically the same entertainment, with the dominoes and all the games and stuff. So I'm not going to go through that. The big things that we've had recently are we had Kerry Raduskowitz. He is a speaker from Laverne that talked to us about Medicare and the changes that there's going to be in the insurances that people have for their supplements. And anybody that is of senior age, there's some big changes that are coming up. And so you may want to check into them. He did an excellent job of speaking for us. Myron Kutz came and spoke to us from Historic Pipestone. He gave a real good speech about what they're doing and what they're looking for funding. The next big fundraiser that we're having is the Holiday Fair, which is going to be November 8th. It's on a Saturday. So come on out and have a barbecue and spend some of your bucks on some of the stuff that there will be out there. It seems like there's always something for everybody out there. And the big question that we've had is, why did we reside the building? And the problem with that is in 2023, when the siding went up, the name of the company that put the siding on was called Rise Incorporated, and they are from Mankato, Minnesota. The siding was provided to us through Pipestone Lumber. And they contacted us Monday and said that we were one of the batches of siding that had been improperly cured. When they put the primer on, I don't know, there's some sort of a process that they bake it or whatever they do, and it was improperly put on, and so their paint was peeling off. And we were very fortunate because by the time they came to replace the siding, there was a lot of areas that were pretty bare with paint. So it just only affected the south side, and they had bids on it. We had Blake Jasper put the original siding on, and we were in hopes that he was going to be able to do that, but he couldn't get it during their timeline. So a gentleman named Josh Fisher from Sioux Falls came and installed the siding. He did a beautiful job. So we're very, very fortunate. It was done at no cost to the senior center, and that's the biggest entertainment of the year for people was the number of phone calls we got. Why are you replacing that siding on that brand new building? So, and we told a lot of people we just didn't like the color, so we decided to change it. But we were lucky to be able to get that done. So, thank you guys for your continued support, and we'll continue to carry on.
Well, it's certainly a nice looking building, and it's utilized, I think, quite a bit by the community.
Really well used, yes.
And there is so much offered there. It's surprising. And if you stop in, I'm sure there'll be someone there that would tell you what's coming up that week, what's coming up the following week. And it seems like there's always something going on there. So thank you, Steve, for your work on it.
You bet. Tony Peterson does a fantastic newsletter for us. So if anybody's interested in receiving that by email, she'd be glad to send it to you. She really is she should be a newspaper editor. She does such a good job. So
Yeah, very good.
let us know if anybody wants one. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Museum, Susan.
All right, well, thanks for giving me the opportunity to give an update on what's going on with the Historical Society. We have, speaking as you did about blight, we've been working a lot on our historic buildings that we maintain in downtown Pipestone. So just to run through some of those, the Ferris Grand Block, we actually had the front door, the transom next to the front door that goes upstairs to the Masonic Hall. It was shattered, so we had to have that replaced. It was really just unexpected. So it was about $700 to get that done, just out of the blue, but took care of that. We also had the ceiling tiles in the front windows that the Performing Arts Center does their displays in. Because of the water damage in the more recent years that we had repaired. Of course, the whole front facade of that building. So we replaced the ceiling tiles there. And also we did turn in the final grant application to repoint the remaining 3 facades of that building. So we will get the good word later this year, hopefully. And realistically, then the work would start next in 2026. So the scaffolding will go back up, but not on Main Street. So on the L building, the little building that their Performing Arts Center lobby is, we did have the 2 columns spanning the doorway replaced, and that does look real nice. They were in rough shape. They were had some wood rot on there. They were about 30 years old. So we got those all replaced. And then, of course, in our commemorative garden, which also served, that's right next to the museum, kind of an empty lot there that we've turned into a garden area. It also serves as the fire exit for the Performing Arts Center. We rebuilt the steps in that area. The whole project cost probably a little over $15,000. These things, you just have no idea how much things cost these days. But when we had it installed, there was actually about a 4.5-inch drop from the threshold, so that doesn't work. But we did get that repaired. Painter Landscaping came in and got it jacked up and secured, and it's beautiful now in that area. In the Moore building, there is a doorway on Main Street. You may not have noticed it. It's just east of the store front. We're replacing the doorway there. It was also in tough shape, so.
Does that go up to the second
It
floor?
does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be replaced hopefully next week. So we've just been doing a lot of this work. And I know people have noticed that we've been working out at the District Number 3 schoolhouse at Moore Park. So we've done a lot out there. This year, in the last quarter, we replaced the fire exit door on that building, made it weather tight, repainted 3 elevations of that building, which includes, scraping, caulking, nailing, and then the painting was the easy part, I have to tell you. But really, really had some great volunteers on that project, and really have to give a shout out to Steve Schultz on that. He did quite a bit, most of it actually. So we also repaired and sealed several windows out there, and we had our interior window shades installed, and that was done with a gift from a private donor and support from the United Way of Pipestone County. So we thank them for that. And we held great successful summer programming out at the schoolhouse this summer. Unfortunately, we didn't have our teacher, Diane Hansen. Hope to have her back next year on that. At the museum, Old City Hall, we had another successful internship program. We've been working really hard on our 2026 budget for the whole historical society. The main budget increase that we are working in is implementing health insurance benefits to the staff, which is something that we've not had in the past, but the board feels that going forward, it really is a cost of doing business. So we're trying to really fit that in. So we're also raising money for several projects outside of our regular budget. So we also we're doing a lot of interior work at the museum as well, replacing ceiling tiles. Those things are more expensive than I ever imagined. And we ordered 4 interior doors throughout the museum that were there originally, and at some time over the last 100 or whatever years, they were removed. So we would like to replace them, and it would look as close to the original as possible, but then we would be better able to regulate our HVAC system. It's a protection against fire, and we'll be able to better secure the building. So we're working on that. So in the interest of time, I know I had a few minutes here. I'm always trying to keep it to the time clock, but that was an update on everything that we've been doing with our historic properties.
Well, it's certainly a busy project that you have going on, just maintaining all those buildings, and Pipestone is certainly a better community because of your efforts. So thank you,
Well,
Susan.
thank you.
Okay. We'll move on then to airport. Rob.
Good evening.
Hello, Rob.
The everything's going good out there at the airport. We had our inspection from MnDOT, and they found a few things, but nothing bad, except for when they do the land lease, we're gonna have to open that up for runway 27 because it's got to be a small crop. And I don't know, when I do the measuring and stuff like that, the ratio that we got to have for the landing out there. Right now, the corn is too high, and that's the issue every year. But the thing is, I think when we do the land lease, we're just going to have to either specify a real low crop like beans and beans only,
So no corn.
no corn.
That's good to know.
So,
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that later today. So
and then as you drive onto the airport, when you look to the southwest where that old telephone poles used to be, okay, they're gone. That used to have the big antenna in for the non-directional beacon, which was put back in about 1950 something time frame. That's gone. And then if you look to the right, that's where we're going to build the new building as you come into 80 by 80. And I don't know when that's going to start. I know they got the bunch of stakes up, and they got a skid steer with nobody running it, just sitting there. I thought for a minute there might be a flower pot of some sort, but then where the old AWAS system used to be, they tore the rest of that out today. So that'll be all nice, wide open.
When's the new one come in?
Okay,
That's the $6,400 question.
well, no, it's actually, it was supposed to be last Friday, but the weather held them up a little bit. But the thing is, I was out there today, and they're gonna try and get it going by Friday,
Okay,
which should be a great asset again.
right.
Because right now we have people that bypass Pipestone mainly because they can't get in because of the weather and or the winds. And but the winds, like I say, we can't control that.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, hang on to your boots. It's gonna be worse tomorrow from the way it sounds. But other than that, everything is going good. Um, Can't think of anything else.
Okay. Travis, would you have any updates for Rob as far as when they're gonna be starting that building or?
Not 100% sure. We had the pre-construction meeting and got things staked out, and then, yeah, we haven't seen
I
it
did get a
yet.
phone call just before I left today. They're gonna run power underground over there.
Right.
And, that's tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. They're gonna be no power. So that just means they're making some headway.
When they're paying for the majority of the building, I guess we can be patient and
Yes,
let them do it.
there can be.
Yes.
That's no problem. But other than that, like I say, everything's going good.
Good.
So.
Well, thank you, Rob. Appreciate the updates. Community development, Justin.
I can tell you everything I told you an hour ago. But, been real busy with our childcare work that we're doing. We did our quotes tonight on that Good Shepherd building, so we can get some carpenters and plumbers in there, get some of that work done, and hopefully open up first part of the year. We're gonna have an open house on October 30th from 2 to 4. If anybody's interested in checking it out, see how far we got this far, and we'll have another open house later on when we're completely finished.
Do we have a name for that building? We should probably come up with some type of a name for that building. And then we can advertise, when we're talking about it, that this is a project through the EDA. We're trying to entice private individuals to come forward and start a daycare. And we do have a building available that would work quite nicely. So you don't have to start a daycare in your home residence or anything, but our goal in the long run is to establish another daycare, which we need in Pipestone, and then eventually to move that on to a private individual and allow them to purchase that building. And so, yeah, we've got to come up with some type of name for it so that we can promote it better.
You five can think on that.
Yeah, okay.
Also on October 30th, we're gonna be launching our Community Solution Action Plan for our rural child care innovation project that we've been working on for the last year and a half. That was give all the goals and everything that we've said and everything that we've learned through our survey processes and everything. That's about it for child care. This last quarter, we've written over $2 million in grant requests. So cross your fingers if we get half of them would be really nice. Variety of different projects. The 3 Main Shared Access Trail was the biggest one. Did some grant work for the child care facility. Minnesota DNR Relief Grant. That's about replanting trees and not publicly owned land in the city. And a lot of others, just smaller grants. Our business retention and expansion, we're still working on that. We got the interview guide hammered out, finalized. Tom Cephas and I have done a couple of practice rounds interviews with a few different businesses. 28th, we're going to have a training for volunteers. Then we can get out and really start hammering it hard this winter. Things slow down for everybody a little bit. Southwest Acres update, sold 100 lots this quarter. Sewer and water's been installed all the way through. Excel's working on power currently. That corner lot, as you drive in there, that has reverted back to the EDA as the people that bought it changed their mind. They found a different house in it. They're not building one. So that one will be available again. So now 3 of them available for the great low price of free. If you build a home within 2 years, you get your $15,000 back. Got a lot of interest in our loan programs, part of the ponds, but the house on West Main looks really nice. He's got that painted. That was the first exterior improvement loan with that successful.
If anyone is interested in that program, Justin, they apply through you here at the city offices.
That's right.
And what's the details on that program?
It's a $5,000 loan program for exterior improvements. So anything like paint, siding, roofing, doors, windows. Anything's gonna make the outside of your house look nice, essentially. It's a 4-year low interest. I think this last one was 1.25%. So it's cheap money. It's not free, but it's pretty cheap. So hopefully people utilize that a little more next season.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good opportunity. If you have to do those updates, you have to maintain. And here's an opportunity to be able to get some extra funding, pretty reasonable rate.
Getting a little inquiries into our child care capacity expansion forgivable loan program. Had some people ask about that. Hopefully we can get some more people started with that program. Our traditional gap funding loans are also still available for business startups and expansions. Anybody? And we just had one paid off last month, and we'll have another one next one. So, been working on zoning. Been working with Safe Build a lot lately. Gonna get everything transitioned, these old permits to the new permit system. It's going smooth. Everybody's learning, but contractors just trying to catch on. Make it work.
Good.
Well, I got.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Any questions from the council? Thank you, Justin. Appreciate all your work. And HRA is not here. Fire department, Mike. He was here. There he is. You're up. You're in the batter's box here, so yeah, you're up.
There's a fire department report.
It was presented to us, and yeah. So we're gonna meet. Myself and Roger are gonna meet at the fire hall tomorrow.
Yeah.
In a Zoom meeting in regards to the needs of the fire department and the relief association. So we'll get some more information tomorrow on that.
Yep.
What was your dance fundraiser?
Good. I think it was down a little bit, but weekends got switched, and with the MEA holiday, I think we lost a few people for that. Next year we'll be back on the regular weekend, so.
Do you have any of those funds earmarked for anything specific?
We're looking at some, what's it called, like a wildland firefighter gear. It's not so heavy and bulky for cornfield fires and things like that. And it's also, classified, you can use it for car education too. It's more of a lightweight.
Turnout gear?
Yeah.
Would that be for everyone, or is that?
That's the plan.
Okay.
There's a grant out there that I'm gonna try and apply for to get some of the funding for that, and we'll see where it goes from there. We do, as long as I'm up here, the engine truck does have a little bit of a health problem. Something went through with the main pump. It still works, but it's not being as efficient as it should be. It's running at a higher RPM than it should be. Just saying, the truck's tested, and they went in there with a camera and try to see, they think it might have been a mechanical failure inside, see how anything could get,
through our water system, there's a screen on the inlet.
Yeah.
But, so it does have a health problem. I'm waiting to get some paperwork back on that as far as where I'm going and what it's gonna cost to fix. Hopefully it's not terrible, but I may be back in here giving you a different update, and hopefully I'm not.
Any type of pump, that's a wear item and, they're gonna fail from time to time, so.
So,
That can be
yeah.
expected, so, okay.
It's been kind of slow, and let's keep it that way.
That's a good sign. We want our fire department to be nice and slow.
Yep, so.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Old business, consider a four-way stop sign at the intersection of Third Avenue Northwest and Second Street Northwest. And Travis, you have some updates and some ideas on this. This was an idea that was brought forward by the public because of the difficulty to see when you're traveling north and south at that intersection because of the buildings. And you almost have to have yourself committed out there in the street before you can even see if it's clear. So go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a difficult intersection in itself. With the angled parking, that's there by, is it the food shelf? That's the last building there. And then the width of the
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
yeah, I mean, it used to,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
You know, the width of the road changes there too. So it's, it used to have a stop sign. It was taken out sometime after the street project was done in 2010-ish. Couple ideas we had, just trying to pull up my notes. We could do, it's gonna be hard to see a stop sign for east-west traffic. There's or the westbound traffic is the biggest concern. So either eliminating a couple parking stalls, switching the north side of the road to parallel parking, which is also gonna impact the number of parking stalls that are available, or do some type of a out or at least a temporary bump out to try it. We've seen those delineated before on state highways where they try something like that. They did it on 75 for a while. But that would get the stop sign further out to the back of the cars, because the thing that we don't want to have happening is north-south traffic thinking the westbound car is going to stop and then they don't because they can't see the stop sign. Another thing could be done, could do a lighted stoplight there, one of those that has the LEDs around it that flash. Yeah, it's a difficult intersection the way it is there. So
it's a two-way stop right now. Yeah. And just to modify it to a four-way stop, that bump out that you're talking about, just to bring that corner out, because you can't have this post from the stop sign so on the sidewalk there, so close to the building that you can't, it's not ADA accessible. And so, yeah, that's an issue. Well, what does that temporary bump out look like? What is that?
they use some, I think they just glue them down. There's just some plastic bumpers that go in, or channel delineators. I've seen those before.
Okay.
Public Works is not gonna like it.
Because of snow removal?
Yeah, I mean, those are hassles.
Okay.
Probably the best thing to do, I mean, it's a change in traffic control, so it's gonna be a concern no matter what happens. If we really think there's a need for a stop sign there, probably eliminating some parking stalls as you approach the intersection from the west is gonna be the best option. Maybe a lighted sign, but just a tough intersection.
That parking stall in front of that building is that real close to the crosswalk? Is it actually almost right on top of that crosswalk anyway?
It's angled, so I forget how far back it is, but they get fairly close there. So I don't know what the parking need is in that location anymore, but that building is right up on the right of way on both sides.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it makes it tight. Would it be feasible to move that stop sign to the west on the other side of the crosswalk?
I don't know if that's a good
Or
idea.
is that even an option?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's,
I know if you look at the four-way stop at Hiawatha and Second, and of course, it's a different width street there, but it's similar with the parking. But yeah, it makes it difficult to try to fit something into an existing intersection.
right. There's, pedestrian access ramps there that are, potentially in conflict with it too. I didn't look at the specifics of where to lay it out. I was more concerned with the visibility of it was the first concern.
What's your recommendation then, as an engineer here? And I don't want to put you on the spot, but traffic flow and everything else. I'm putting you on the spot.
I know, it becomes a balancing act of, is it better to let traffic pick a different route to get to where they want to go that's got better visibility, go down to a four-way stop and get across there? Sometimes that's a better option than making a change, but I'm a little non-committal on what the best option is there, other than eliminating some parking, which usually isn't a good idea. It's just not a great idea that pops out.
Yeah. Would it help to eliminate the parking stall there on the north side and leave it as it is, so it's easier for people to see? Or
Yeah, it might be a case where maybe take a parking stall out and install the stop sign and see if that helps.
yeah,
That makes it better. Sometimes these are,
I think it's just storage in that building right now. There isn't a business in that building.
yeah, it might be a case where it's make an adjustment, see if traffic does okay with it. And that helps make it easier to see, and
Yeah, yeah,
adding a stop sign is a pretty big change.
okay. Well, it was brought up by the public, and so we wanted to address it. And we certainly don't want any knee-jerk moves here just to appease someone, but we want to make sure that we're doing things correctly for everyone. And if there is an area that needs to be addressed for safety concerns, we're certainly looking into it. So
The main dirty, if you want, I can extend that yellow.
Paint the curb yellow there.
That, for that more line of sight.
okay, yeah, yeah. Let's give that a try. And what Mike was saying is that he still has his paint machine available, and he can bring that yellow curb out further to the east and take out one parking stall and see if that helps eliminate some of the issues there for visibility when you're trying to turn on to Second. Okay,
Stop and talk. Fish and give them a heads up on what's going on there.
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, appreciate the information from staff and their willingness to work on it. And we do have this on the agenda. So at this point, I'd entertain a motion from the council.
I'll make a motion to table this for right now until we decide if that's gonna work,
Okay, all right,
the removing of the stalls.
okay. Or we could make a motion to remove that parking area and have that curb painted yellow and revisit the project later.
Okay.
Versus just because if we table something, then that means we're gonna look into it right away.
Well, the motion or the item for discussion was installing the stop sign. That's
Yeah.
why
Okay.
I said it that way. But,
Or
so should I make a motion not to install a stop sign at this time? Would that be a better motion? And then we can go ahead and make a motion to.
And then add on to that, if you want to add on to your motion to,
Okay, I'll do it this way.
okay.
Means it wasn't second yet, so, I'll make a motion to not install the stop sign and, to, remove the parking spots and paint the curb yellow to allow a little more visibility on that corner to see if that will help eliminate the problem with the dangerous intersection.
And then we can always revisit it later. Yeah, I'll second that. So moved and seconded. Any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no, and motion carries. New business, resolution 2025-66, a resolution accepting the grant navigator funding. And this resolution accepts a $4,000 grant from the League of Minnesota Cities to assist with the cost of grant services. Community Development Director Justin Schroyer will serve as the grant administrator and will work with Bolton and Mink to apply for additional funds from the DNR to be used to create a forestry management plan and conduct a tree inventory. And I think Justin touched on that a little bit. If we do get some funding there through this grant, that can help alleviate some of the issues with replacing trees that we know we're gonna be removing because of the emerald ash borer situation that will no doubt be hitting our community in the near future. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the acceptance of
I'll make a motion
grant.
to accept, resolution 2025
I'll second.
-66.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no, and motion carries. Item B, adopt unpaid municipal services and municipal utility assessments. And earlier in the meeting, a public hearing was held pertaining to the assessments of unpaid utility and service bills to property owners. If the final assessment list is approved and unpaid by November 21st, 2025, it will be certified and sent to Pipestone County Auditor's Office with an 8% interest charge or a charge of $25, whichever is greater, and assessed to the property owner's taxes to be paid in 2026. So I'd entertain a motion to approve that unpaid municipal services and municipal utility assessment list.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no, and motion carries. Approve advertisement for lease of the airport land, and the current airport land lease will be up at the end of the year, and is customary for the city to put out an advertisement for bids on the land. Rob Dykstra, our airport manager, indicated the number of acres up for lease will be reduced due to the installation of the AWAS system. And that's a weather reporting system that lets people know that are flying in what the weather conditions are. And if you see on the local television, when they're showing the temperature and everything for the community, that's where they're getting that information from. And that's why right now they show Pipestone and it's always blank. So that'll be a nice equipment to get together once we get that going again. And staff's requesting council to approval to publish an advertisement in the local paper. And so that's the motion we'll be making. And Rob's information tonight was that that should be a low crop. And so we may have to advertise it that it's not available for corn then. How many acres is that, Steph? Do you know right
Is it the
offhand?
total acreage or just a certain runway?
It'll be a certain area.
Just that runway 27 area.
So it'll have to be changed in the description so people know what they're bidding for.
Right, so I would ask that you just allow staff to work with Rob to develop that advertisement.
So you want,
Will be availability to plant corn, just not within a certain.
Not within that area. And it's good timing that it's coming up at this point and that Rob mentioned that, so appreciate that. And yeah, so entertain a motion to advertise for that lease of the airport land.
We advertise for lease of the land at the airport.
Second. Moved and seconded, and that will include updated information, for any proposed, renters on the low crop area. Okay. Any other questions, comments? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no, and motion carries. That's for 3 years, right, Steph? That's what we usually do?
That's what they've done, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Declaration of surplus property. The street department is requesting to declare a 12-foot poly bidirectional snowplow and a 2001 Caterpillar 928G wheel loader with approximately 6,700 hours as surplus property. Planning to post the plow for sale on government deals on that's online auction website. And they still haven't determined on how they want to advertise the Caterpillar loader for sale, but we declare it as surplus property, then they can move ahead with that. So entertain a motion for a declaration of that surplus property.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no, and motion carries. Approved performance evaluation summary for Deb Nelson, and I have a summary review on the performance evaluation that we conducted at our last regular meeting. The evaluation was held on October 6, 2025 in closed session at the Pipestone City Council meeting. Pipestone City Council overall summary and comments. Mayor Dan Delaney and council members Roger Schmidt, Scott Swanson, Verdine Colbeck, and Danielle Thompson unanimously agreed that the evaluation of Deb Nelson's performance is unsatisfactory. The basis of the unsatisfactory evaluation was due to the following findings: poor personal management skills, poor professional conduct and lack of integrity, poor communication with staff, incompetency, and poor handling of financial matters. I'd entertain a motion to approve this performance evaluation summary.
I so moved.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no, and motion carries. Next up is the city administrator position, and I wanted to address the evaluation as well as the long-term solution. My recommendation at this point would be to have the personnel committee move forward with the process on hiring a new city administrator. And I'd also like to recommend a motion to appoint, or no, I guess I would not want to do that at this time. I just want to start the process as a temporary fill-in position for the council for a city administrator. So I'd
Mr. Mayor,
yeah, go ahead, Jason.
I would just interject, you do need a formal motion for the termination of the current city administrator.
Okay. So at this time, I will move that we terminate Deb Nelson as the city administrator effective immediately.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion, questions? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. So with that, we need to start the process for a temporary fill. And I would recommend that we would have our current city clerk, Stephanie LeBrun, as appointed as a temporary city administrator at this time, and start the process to replace our city administrator. Put that in the form of a motion.
Motion, I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. Okay. Closing comments. Do we have any closing comments?
Saturday night,
This Saturday.
yeah, 25th, Veterans Memorial is having a gala at the Country Club. Starts at 5, I think, or starts at 5. Thanks, Justin. And there'll be a meal and a program and a band in the evening.
And a silent auction
And a silent auction.
as for the fundraiser
All the
for,
proceeds go to the Veterans Memorial.
and I just heard today that they have over 70 items donated for that silent auction so far, as of today. So very generous community, and I hope it's a big success because it's a great, great thing to go for, you know. Yep. Okay, all right. Anything else on closing comments?
Purchase tickets? Or can you purchase tickets yet?
I don't know if you can or not.
Or is it?
You'd have to call Renee.
I'll do so.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Well, at this point then, I would like to go into executive session, and before I enter a motion to close this portion of the meeting for the performance evaluation of Michael Blumendahl, I want to state on the record that Mike has the right to have this discussion conducted in an open and public meeting. So Mike, you are present here. Do you wish to have the meeting remain open to the public?
We can keep it closed, that's fine. Close it.
Okay, all right. So your answer to that question is you'd like to have a closed session? Okay, all right. I'd make a motion to close this meeting pursuant to Minnesota statute section 13D.05 subdivision 3 clause A to evaluate the performance of Michael Blumendahl at this time. So I made that motion.
I'll second it.
It's been seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. So we're going to move into closed session at this